Up and Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up and Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Hump Day, smack dab middle of the week. You know what that means. We are coasting to Friday. Thank you so much for being up and Adam. Excited that you're here. Appreciate you more than you know. Today, excited for the show, Bob Voglin. He is one of those Central Coast characters you don't forget. A legend, surfer, storyteller, cancer survivor, and the heart behind one of the most meaningful community events on our coast. What started really as one man's gratitude for the support he received during his own battle with cancer turned into something much bigger. Today, Surfing for Hope has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for local cancer resource programs and created life-changing moments in the water for kids and families going through the fight of their lives. But Bob's story, it's not just about surfing or surviving for that matter. It's about how the ocean, how the community, and a little bit of Stoke can help people find their way through the hardest moments that life throws at them. And now he's putting that journey into words, his new memoir, Riding the Wave of Hope, a reflection on a life of waves, challenges, and the power of positivity. Bob Voglin, again, an absolute legend. We're so lucky to have him here, not just on the show, but in this community. He'll be on the show in just a couple minutes. A couple articles here. Did you see that international drama play out involving Iran's women's national soccer team? So the team just left some tournament thing they were doing, and they're on their way back to Iran, and everyone's like, there's all this drama around, and like, what's going to happen if they get back into Iran? Because I don't know if some stuff happened where they were. It was just this wild thing where people are like, don't send them back there. They're going to be killed. So I guess the plane had to stop on the way back to Iran in Australia. I guess this was during the Women's Asian Cup. That's where this was. They made headlines when they stood silent during their national anthem before the first match. That's what it was about. It's a moment many interpreted as kind of a quiet protest against their own government. And, you know, look, you see people protest our president, our government all the time. We're allowed to do that here. We got free speech here for the most part, right? We can do that. Over there, you do that, you're dead. So after the tournament ended, I guess, Australian officials pulled players aside one by one at the Sydney airport with interpreters and said, hey, you don't have to go back to Iran. And I guess 7 players or 6 of the 7. So 7 originally accepted. The rest of the team, through tears and emotional goodbyes, they boarded the plane home. God, I hope they're okay. The rest of the team that stayed, shit got weird. Things got even more weird. There was drama at the hotel. One of the 7 who initially stayed behind changed her mind, decided to return to Iran after speaking with her teammates and her coach. Probably not a decision that she will, probably one she's going to regret. And then the other 6, they were moved to a secure location. They escaped the hotel, the facility. So there's this dramatic people running down stairwells in the hotel. And then you have people who live in Australia. Listen to this audio from a gal who's just an Australian woman who noticed what was going on. Check this out. Pretty intense. This is running down a stairwell in the hotel.
Yeah, IIGC, it's Australia now. You're in Australia, motherfucker. You're in Australia. You better run. Yeah, we're going to get you now. You better run. Yeah, you got no rights here. You're in Australia. I know who you are. Get down the stairs, yes. What cowards are you guys running? The news is going to love this.
crazy with the accent. Like they still sound really nice, Australians. I think that's one of the soccer players. That might be the seventh that said she wanted to leave, then came back. That's with them. These guys. Anyways, pretty crazy, huh? It's weird times. So Australia's going to say, hey, you could stay here. They'll receive housing, healthcare, support while they begin their new lives. Who knows if they need to stay in Australia, maybe they'll be able to come here or other places. I don't know. All of this unfolded as Iran, of course, currently under bombardment in what started on February 28th. The Iranian government insists the players are safe to return home. Yeah, saying Iran welcomes its children with open arms. But for 6 of those athletes, no, they've decided the future is somewhere else. And man, God bless those women, starting new lives. Good for them. It's crazy to see, no matter what you think of, honestly, I'm real with you. No matter what you think of Trump or Jews or this, or whatever it is, Iran, right? You see people just celebrating in the streets at the fall of that theocratic government. You got to know something's up. I mean, what did they kill? Like 30-something thousand people in the last just several months there. So things, no matter where we stand individually on what's going on, because look, I have a whole lot of thoughts on it too. I get it, but there's something up that we just don't quite understand blessed to live in a country like this. So, all right, unreal, just an unreal story. So blessings to those women and hope to all of the ones that chose to return that they maintain being safe, that they are safe. Okay, let's talk about our friends at Port Bidet before we get into our chat with Bob Voglin in the Lobro Studios. I've already said it from the mountaintop. Once you go bidet, there is no going back. There's just no going back. And if you're like me, yes, a very proud bidet guy, you already know the struggle. You get used to that clean, comfortable, why didn't I freaking do this sooner feeling at home? And then you travel. I'm going to a wedding next week, hotel, Airbnb conference. Let's say you're hosting a wine cruise in France again. This is where the traveler from Port Bidet comes in. I'm going to be bringing it next week when I go to this wedding in Hollister. Who gets married in Hollister? It's not a squeeze bottle. It's not awkward. None of this mumbo jumbo Amazon cheapy stuff. This actually mounts to the toilet with no tools, no plumbing. It's rather genius. And it does it within seconds. Easy. Gives you real pressure, real control. Best of all, real comfort. It's like bringing your home setup with you. Trust me, vacation hits different when you feel like yourself. They just absolutely killed their Kickstarter. It's a genius product. They're shipping now, and yes, Up and Adam officially partnering with Port Bidet. So if you've ever been curious, I tell you, this is your sign. This is your invite. Hit the link in the show notes or head to adammontiel.com. You could see the link. Just scroll down. You'll see Port Bidet. Grab the traveler. Let them know, or just hitting that link will let them know that you heard them on Up and Adam. Your future self and your suitcase will thank you.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, Helmet Bob. That's what a lot of folks call him around the Central Coast now. Bob Voglin, I call him a legend. He's a legend. He's such a sweet, sweet man. I've known him for 15, I don't know, a ton of years, this guy. It's a local surf legend. He's a cancer survivor. And Bob Voglin is the founding force behind Surfing for Hope. It's a nonprofit that uses the healing power of the ocean to support people and families going through cancer. What started as a small idea, born in the water, has grown into a community movement that has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for local cancer resource programs. And now Bob's sharing his own story in a brand new memoir called Riding the Wave of Hope. Bob Voglin, my man, thank you so, so much for being Up and Adam.
Of course, Adam. Always good to see you.
It's so good to see you, dude. How have you been? How are things going for you? I feel like we've known each other for years. We'll talk everything from Surfing for Hope to this book, but more just like as the man and the heart that I love. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I think I might be aging out, which I hate to admit up to it.
You're aging, but you're not aging out.
Okay. Cancer was brutal, so that's been tough for me. My episode started 23 years ago. That's how I met my wonderful best buddy, Tom Spillane.
Oh, we love Tom.
He's the best, yeah.
He's great.
And Oh, 3 years ago, I found out I do have prostate cancer, so I'm dealing with that cancer again, which kind of sucks. But we're on a holding pattern, so every 6 months we kind of check it out. So that's good. But other issues, I have balance issues, so it's gotten really tough to actually be a surfer, and it's kind of almost like I have to be a surfer. It's been my life.
Well, I feel like you are a surfer, whether you are able to get on those waves right now for whatever reason or not. Here in your chest, you are a surfer. I mean, look what you've done for surfers, how you've used surfing to minister to others. You are always a surfer.
Thank you. And Adam, I certainly believe that. I mean, I started at 10 years old with my sister in Santa Monica Pure.
No way.
And it was classic. And she was one of the few women surfers, too. And she was a legendary woman with herself. And I grew up with her and my mom. My mom was a single mom in the 50s. It was tough. Our early childhood was really tough. My mom was very positive and loving and kind and was taken advantage of many times, I'm sure. But she was a car hop in Hollywood, and my sister and I, we lived in boarding houses, and kind of some horrible memories of that. That was my early childhood. My mom was discovered in the movie biz and got into the movie biz and married a man that was much older than her, but he was a director, and so we went from rags to riches. So we were living in boarding houses, and then all of a sudden, when I was 7, Kathy, my sister, was 8 or 9, my mom remarried Jack. And lo and behold, we had a brand new house in Northridge, California.
Oh my gosh.
And it was kind of like San Luis Obispo was, but 60 years ago.
The East
Rolling
Valley.
hills and the valleys. And my sister and I were like in heaven. There were wild horses. They weren't wild, but
And did you like the guy that your mom was with?
Yeah, Jack Voglin, really, I loved...
Oh, you have his name, okay.
He became... I took his name.
Wow.
And it was interesting. My mom was not big on doing legal stuff. So like in junior high, I think in 7th grade, my mom said, "Oh, okay, we're changing your name. Now you're a Voglin." So that was presto chango. I became Robert Voglin, or Bob. So that was kind of interesting times, to be sure.
Yeah, no, my dad moved to L.A., downtown L.A., and then later on Hollywood. In that time, he was born in '46, so it would have been in the mid '50s, '55.
Yeah, then I was born in '49.
So you were literally right there, right around my dad in that time, in that scope. Yeah. Amazing.
It was an amazing world. And then actually from there, we moved from the Valley to Pacific Palisades. And I started surfing when we lived in the Valley, actually. My sister and I bought this beat-up board in 1960, and that started our surfing. But once we moved to Pacific Palisades, I mean, Surf City all the way, and then my first car was a VW bus. So
Stop it, of course.
I got real popular.
You're surfing in Southern California with the Beach Boys, with Jan and Dean, with all the surf music. All of it. Dude, what was that like, Bob? That is incredible.
It was insane. And that's part of the book that I wrote about. I mean, that time frame was very remarkable, very magical. I mean, I was in the area where modern surfing was progressing very strongly in Pacific Palisades and Malibu. Also, it was where skateboarding began. So I skateboarded with the younger kids, the Z-Boys. I knew all those guys. But a lot of the kids I went to school with, a couple of them, they were on the first skate team in the world, which was the Makaha skate team.
Wow.
So through my life with the skateboarding and surfing and then the whole movie thing, I have a whole stuff. I worked at Paramount Pictures in the mailroom. Yeah.
The mailroom of a movie studio?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I mean, because my step-pops got me the job, of course, and at that time he was working on Mod Squad, and my mom was actually working there too. And then my mom became like a very successful actress, a name you wouldn't really know. But how I deem success in acting is if they get retirement. And then every couple of weeks, I get residual checks from every old movie you can think of that my mom was in.
No way.
Hey, there's lunch on Mom. Here's 250 from Matlock or Charlie's Angels, and then my sister went on to become a famous casting director. Go figure.
Wow.
And that's how. And actually, Kathy was helped start Surf Night because she moved up here when I had
Surf
cancer.
Night at the Slow Film Fest.
At the Slow Film Fest, she was
Wow.
very instrumental in getting Surf Night, which is the most popular.
Oh, it's the big,
event,
yeah.
and
I
it's a
remember
big deal.
I hosted that like 8-9 years in a row.
I was great. You were there. I was so stoked with you there.
I loved it.
Through the years.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. But I just been so blessed to have the life I had. I mean, going through it, I thought, this sucks. Or I didn't really realize that we had, I grew up kind of in an unusual environment, and it was very unsettling, and it was nowhere near Ozzie and Harriet.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Not
the
a
way
lot
it
of
was.
safety.
No safety. And basically, my mom got a divorce from my stepdad when I was 17, and then she went to make a movie in Italy. And then I was on my own from that. And then I moved into Hollywood there when I went to work at Paramount Pictures. Started off as in the low end of the mail boy. So you get this old 1950s bicycle with a big basket. And then I graduated to being the top mail boy where you get the golf cart. And you get all the big guys, so all of the directors and producers and all the big stars. I had Roman Polanski was on my en route at the same time frame when Sharon Tate was murdered.
Oh my gosh.
And I was living right by Hollywood and Vine, Hollywood and Boston. But just 3 blocks from Hollywood and Vine, but very close to where the LaBiancas were murdered.
Dang.
It was such a weird time, and I was there.
And you don't even like know this then, but you're like, I'm in the middle of history.
No, nothing. I know it. So I kind of deem my life as a little bit like Forrest Gump. Just like, yo-de-do, just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, we would go to the Directors Guild for their Christmas parties, and Tony Curtis would be handing out presents. And all those people. I got to meet Bob Hope on the stairways of the Paramount Commissary, and Jack knew him very well. So he goes, "Hey, Bob, this is my son Bob." And I go, "Hello, Mr. Hope."
Now,
It's crazy stuff.
What was your relationship with with him? I mean, here he is. You took his name. He introduces you to Bob Hope as his son, and then your mom goes to Italy, and at 17 they're separate, and you're on your own now.
I kept my relationship with him. He was my father figure, really.
Yeah.
My biological father basically he bailed when I was a baby, and my sister was a couple years old. But I did have a relationship with him. And I still have a relationship with my stepmom, who's lived in Iowa.
Wow!
But he was one of those hard-ass guys. He would cruise around with a roll of dimes for a little power punch. And
really?
he would be cruising with my sister and I as little babies and kids, and he would look for fights basically, and get out and he was just a gnarly guy.
This is
my biological
your biological father.
Yeah, yeah.
He'd roll around with a roll of dimes in his hand and pick fights with people.
Yeah,
man,
isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Was he ever hard on you guys?
He wasn't around. So
Right.
it was a mixed blessing.
Sure.
Growing up with him might have really been brutal. It would have changed my life drastically.
Yeah.
But no, with my stepdad, I bonded with him, and he was always in love with my mom. So he had his mixed agenda, but he was truly a good man to my sister and I.
That's
So
huge.
it's cool.
Is your sister still alive?
No, Kathy passed almost 10 years ago with horrible cancer. And then my public service messaging, my cancer that I had, my major cancer was throat cancer. And most throat cancers are caused by the HPV virus.
Yeah.
My sister had ovarian cancer, which is caused by the HPV virus. So my big announcement for people that get the vaccination. Have your kids vaccinated, because it could save them from, like my sister not being here. Or for me, 23 years ago, I had my treatments, and every morning, I know, because of very dry throat, horrific dental stuff, horrible swallowing issues. It goes with the turf. And then my cancer, they're not as aggressive as they were now, fortunately. So it's not as aggressive. But the people in my class of radiated neg people, we got worked.
Yeah.
Stomach tube for like 8 months.
Oh, my God.
Didn't eat. It's a whole weird thing about not eating. I mean, it's such a social deal. It's like, anyway, it was an interesting experience, but you know, I've always just been, it's okay. I've always been okay with stuff, and I think I attribute a lot of that to my mom as being such a positive person.
Yeah. Where did you kind of go, all right, I've had this life, I've led this path, I think I got to write this stuff down. I need to write a book.
Well, during the pandemic, I had a lot of time, like a lot of us.
Yeah.
So I started writing a manuscript. And then I've really been fortunate. I've done a lot of really interesting and fun surf travels and exotic places. I did a lot of journaling on that. So I thought, hey, I'm going to write a manuscript and maybe of this book. So I wrote it, and then I gave it to a friend of mine that I know, childhood guy I've known forever, from SC graduate. So I was all excited, and I go, here, you know, I give him my manuscript, and then, you know, a couple of days later, I go, well, what do you think? What do you think? And he goes, well, I went to English class, was his comment. And you know, apparently I didn't go to English class. I went surfing. So you know, so in other words, it was just English was horrible, and it was just rough. So I just shelved it for 3 or 4 years, and then everything with Surfing for Hope has been really so many fortuitous things that just seem to happen because they're supposed to. So we had a little more than a year ago, we had one of our WSL contests at Morro Bay. And this guy who had newly moved into the area from Boulder, Colorado, a guy named Scott, he heard me interviewed on TV and said, hey, you know, and he was living in Morro Bay, and he goes, well, I'll go look at this event. So, and then Scott's an interesting guy. He has a project called the Kindness Project, where he gives special coins to people in these cool little Chinese New Year's packets.
Wow.
Just as a positive thing, and people can keep them, they can give them away, but as a luck charm. And so that's how he walked up to me and he gave me one of these coins. And Scott, kind of like myself, is a real talker. And we started talking, and he goes, I'm an editor. I've written more than a dozen books. I do a lot of social media stuff. And he goes, in today's world, it's easy to write a book. So good old AI helped me a lot.
Good.
And it was a lot harder than I thought, and it was a lot more frustrating than I thought. But lo and behold, I got the book. I think
Harder to write it or harder to publish it?
harder to publish it, and going through, you know, and then the editing and re-editing, and then discovering things, you know, about.
Oh, sure.
You don't want to put in, you know, like lines and lyrics from music because you'll get sued.
Sure.
So I didn't know that, but then I had already put the book out. Then I had to take it back.
Oh,
so that
no.
stuff.
Yeah.
I flow pretty well in the writing aspect of it.
That's good. Good. That
So
came together.
hopefully for the next one.
Creatively, it came together, but then
Yes.
executing the fundamentals. Yeah, I know you need help doing that
You
sometimes.
need help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But lo and behold, it all worked out.
It's called Riding the Wave of Hope.
Yes.
And it's surviving life's challenges and cancer one wave at a time. And first of all, I got to tell you, the cover is beautiful. It's like this beautiful rainbow wave, and
That's sweet.
and it's just pretty. If you know Bob Voglin and you've had a chance to meet him or cross paths with him, I think the cover is really indicative of just your spirit. I mean, you're just this. I mean, how long have we known each other? Many, many years. But
10 at least. I
least
remember.
10, yeah.
I think we met. We got invited to test Bloody Marys, for the
Oh my God,
restaurants.
stop it. That's
Isn't that
right,
crazy?
Bob. That was probably like 15 years ago,
that
dude.
might be 15 years ago.
That's crazy.
And
That's
we
right.
were stoked. And all the goodies they had with it.
Oh, my God.
We did well sampling.
Yeah, we were judging Bloody Marys, and they came out. It was almost like, remember the beginning of the Flintstones cartoon where they put the ribs on his car and it tips over? Like the toppings of these Bloody Marys. It's like,
whole
that's
lobster
a a tri-tip
It was
slider.
so crazy. Yeah,
I've just
I loved
always
it.
really been... I've always really loved you. I've always thought you're just a great guy, and
Thank
you have a soul that you just want to, stay connected to. And you always feel like, even though we might go through times of not talking, I feel connected to you, and of course to Tom Spillane and Surfing for Hope, and we're going to put links in the show notes to the book. Surfing for Hope, I mean, I've hosted events for you. We've talked about it.
Oh, yes.
Where did Surfing for Hope come from? Where is it right now? I mean, we were just talking earlier about, people who see the great work that Surfing for Hope is doing, how it's expanding. Your surf contest, is expanding, and how people are saying, hey, we want to support. Tell me where Surfing for Hope, where it began, where it's now.
Well, Surfing for Hope started off 16 years ago, basically, and I literally was in the water at one of my favorite surf spots in the day, St. Anne's. Just
Where's that?
Spyglass. Get off on Spyglass.
Okay.
It's at this wonderful. There's lots of reefs, and when the surf's bigger in the fall and the winter, it's a great spot. And I saw Tom Spillane out there, and I had my helmet and I had my backpack, which I was a real character in the water. I came up with a device because my dry throat issue from radiation. So I had a Camelback. And then I've also had worn a helmet even prior to cancer because my cardiologist, Michael Famularo, who's a surfer, I'm a blood clot guy from my dear biological pops passed that on to me. So I'm on blood thinners for life.
Okay.
So he goes, you got to surf. You always have to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
So I always wear a helmet. So
You caught Tom Spillane's eye, who's a doctor.
I did, and then so I paddled out, and then I was out and I was having a wonderful time, and in the day I was pretty active and I caught a lot of waves.
Yeah.
So I go over and I see it's Tom Spillane, and he didn't recognize me. So I go paddling up to him, and he goes, "Oh crap! Is this guy gonna punch me out or something?" And lo and behold,
Did I cut the lineup? What happened here?
Yeah. There's that little anxiety that surfers go through. But so Tom, I said, "Hey, it's me, Bob Voglin. You're my doc." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And then he looks and he goes, and then he also wrote a foreword about it that explains our meeting, which is funnier than hell.
He wrote the foreword of your book?
He wrote that. Isn't that great?
He's such a great guy.
He's such a great guy.
I love him and Karen.
And that, my peoples. So he said, you probably shouldn't be out here for so many medical reasons and all that stuff. He goes, but whatever. So we came in after surfing, and I started. I had a surfboard that some guys presented to me. I said, "Let me show you this cool board these guys gave me, in support of my cancer thing." And then I said, I had just started working for the volunteering and helping at the Hearst Cancer Resource Center, and I said, Tom, why don't we try to use surfing to help promote the Hearst Cancer Resource Center? And at the time, 30 years ago, you'd never be able to have surfing as a platform to help at all because society was not there. Today, they're very there. So there's, people respect and know we're athletes. But back
What
then,
did it take? Did it take that generation to grow up into being the philanthropist, the little bit older demographic? What did it take? Did it take just like warming up? When I was growing up, could I have ever guessed there'd be skate parks that cities would build in their city?
Crazy.
Things have evolved.
Oh, I know.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm kind of just curious, how, isn't that fun? People start warming up to these things.
It's amazing. Well, in the day, we were rebels and bad boys and pot smoking, psychedelic taking people, and yeah, we were. Yeah. But that was just the whole time frame of that whole world. But it was a special time to be a surfer because there weren't that many of us, and there's so many places weren't discovered. And look at what surfing has done to societies all over the world.
Yeah.
Created all these environments. But I think it started slowly but slowly when more women got into it, like when there's a movie called Blue Crush.
Sure.
And when that came in 20-ish years ago, it started kind of softening the whole machismo kind of thing, and people got mellowed out. And then surfing came to the Olympics and skateboarding. And, society said, well, hey, these
Became
guys
a
are
film
all right.
genre?
What's that?
It became a film genre.
Yeah.
Like
huge.
surfing cinema is, and I learned this from hosting Surf Night because I delved into it deeply, especially every night I got asked back, and I was there for almost 10 years hosting Surf Night, and I really became a studier of surf cinema and how it, one, from a production standpoint, evolved. Look, now we're using drones, but then from dudes on, floating on jet skis with cameras, the whole cinematography of surfing, and then, of course, the music that goes with it, the scoring. I've always been a student of it because I'm fascinated by it.
It's very fascinating. I mean, starting with the guy, George Guineau, he was a kneeboarder from Santa Barbara, but he really started the shortboard revolution. And then he would have this old camera way back when that was huge, and he would take that in the surf.
Right.
I don't know how the heck they did it.
Right.
And even when they did the In the Summer 2, the cameras were so tough to take, but now, and then you watch
now
the
it's
World
a freaking
Surf League,
GoPro stuck on your board,
it's crazy.
Or it's a drone. It's
the
insane.
drones
I
and
know.
the views. The same with the Olympics and everything. I mean, it's rich. It's just so, because it's hard. I mean, if you don't have that, like being a spectator with surfing, it's like, oh, I don't know. Okay, what happened? But with that, you see everything. So
If you can't deliver the picture, you can't deliver the experience. And we see that as we're watching the Winter Olympics.
Perfect.
If I don't have that camera going down that skeleton or that bobsled thing or whatever, that's what brings us in. I mean, even now, who knew that every 4 years we would give a shit about curling, where they're taking this thing and they're like using Swiffers and because the cameras are so and everything, it's all like, oh my God, now we're all into it. So the cinematography of athleticism, whatever it is, surfing included, especially surfing, it really brings it to life.
It really does. So I think that collection of things really helped. It had to kind of be whittled down to get rid of its really bad guy, that most society really thought. Because I tell relatives that when I was a teenager, they go, "Well, Bobby, what sports you like?" And I played all sports, and I was pretty good and athletic. Even though I was blind, I had real
You got a bad
vision. Both. I was born with 2200 vision.
Oh my God!
So I knew that the first letter was an E. Other than that, so I'm good at adapting through life, basically.
Obviously.
So surf-wise, though, it kind of helped give me an additional sense because I could feel where waves were. It's kind of a weird thing, but I really had that ability, and it would piss people off because people are like herding around one little spot where the waves are really consistent, and then I just feel something, and I just kind of move over there.
Vibrationally?
Pardon?
Vibrationally or ocularly?
More vibrational. Yeah,
Wow.
It's not to get too far out there, but
let's get out there.
To me there was something really special about it. And out there you're riding energies that was created like 2,000-3,000 miles away from storms that, like in the winter, all these Aleutian storms. And all those come our way, and everything has to be perfect for it to hit. The geology has to be perfect, everything. And this wave is an energy, and then it's going to die once it hits the shore, and we get to ride it. And then getting into the tube of the wave and the visuals, it's. And then all these really tropical places where the water is turquoise and. It's magical. It's just, I feel so blessed and fortunate that I've been able to surf all my life. And, very important, I found a woman in my early life that understood how important it was. So my wife, Nancy, has put up with me for 47 years. and she supported me surfing always. Bob, go on a surf trip with your buddies. Bob, just go to the beach. You're being an ass. So yeah, do something. And I knew that right off because I was working as a marine biologist in the 20s. That's how I met Nancy. A place in El Segundo, government agency. It was pretty cool. But she was like a mutual friend from this organization I worked for. And we finally met, got together. I was living in Topanga Canyon with all these wild hippie scientists, and it was good old times. And then Nancy and I, she moved in, and then I said, Nancy, I always wanted to move to Hawaii. What do you think? She goes, I'll go with you. So we sold everything. She went with me. Didn't work out. Apparently there's a lot of other marine biologists that are surfers that wanted jobs in Hawaii, so I couldn't find a job. But I asked her to marry me on the Big Island, and we came home and got married, and that was it.
Wow.
That was cool.
First of all, I don't know why marine biology has been like a thing in my life in the last couple of weeks. I'm talking to a marine biologist in text from Cal Poly right now. I'm going to be interviewing him in the next week or so, talking about wind, things like that.
Yeah.
I was talking to another guest, and we were both joking about how, like, when you're a dude, there's a time when you're a little boy, you want to be a fireman, and you may go through all the things of wanting to be a
pilot.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, I want to be a basketball player, whatever it is. But there's some time that, like, both guys and girls, 13, 14, 15, we all go like, I want to be a marine biologist. Maybe it's like you first went to SeaWorld, or you first started seeing the water and the ocean, or you picked up a sea anemone, and like everybody wanted to be a marine biologist. And like, it's such a cool vocation. And like, as I've been having these like conversations, it's so weird that like all this marine biologist conversations have been happening in like the last 2 weeks of my life right now. And I'm even texting one now from Cal Poly, who's a professor. But like, what a cool gig. And it's one that it's hard to maintain. You don't always make a lot of money. You think you do. And it's tough. It's a lot of research, a lot of math, a lot of tedious work.
Well, if you're one of the biologists and you're going out in the field, so you're a seagoing scientist, that's what most people think they're going to be when they go into marine biology. I left the movie business. I got disenchanted with that, and it's like, screw that. I wanted to get into the camera department, but everything changed. So I just said, well, screw that. So I left Hollywood and moved to Santa Monica and went to Santa Monica Community College, and studying marine biology and business. And it's like, I want to be a marine biologist, like everybody. And so in my marine biology class, the teacher said, hey, there's the governmental agency called Southern California Coastal Water Research Project in El Segundo, SCWRP, and they need people to transcribe data. They generate a great deal of data. And at that time, this is 1970, and it was the primitive time in marine biology still. So I always needed work. I had to get some kind of job. So I started working for them. And everything they did, they basically were studying the effects of wastewater pollution on the California Bight, which is Point Conception to the Mexican border. All the different counties have marine biological vessels. Santa Barbara, Ventura, L.A., Orange County, San Diego. They worked with all the sanitation districts to go out on these seagoing quarterly cruises. And what they would do is they would do chemical stuff, but they also, the biological stuff is they would throw nets down. They're called otter trawl nets. And so I was always a hard worker, and so they liked me a whole lot. And so they trained me to be a marine biologist. They trained me to be a seagoing scientist. I was known as an ichthyologist. I was trained to be an ichthyologist. My guy I worked with, who was my roommate, Jim Allen, Dr. Allen, another Dr. Allen, he trained me to be this marine biologist, and I was doing it. I wrote scientific papers. I mean, I have a fair amount of scientist friends, and they go, I've never wrote a scientific paper. I got to write.
You were
two.
published a little bit. Wow.
I got published back then.
Dang.
And it was just amazing. But I almost had an AA, right? So basically, if I wanted to continue, I would have needed at least a master's or a doctorate. And even then, the money was so poor. So after we came back, we got married. We wanted to raise a family. And I thought, well, this ain't working. So a surfer buddy of mine got me a job as, he was a headhunter he had a part-time headhunter job, and got me a job for selling fastening products, fasteners, anchors.
You've literally done everything.
Yeah, but it's all kind of been woven into the surfing world.
I know. To see where Surfing for Hope has evolved is
Crazy.
It's incredible, Bob. So
Isn't it?
stoked for you guys.
Well, and we started basically. We didn't have a nonprofit, so we started using the French Hospital Foundation's nonprofit for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we created our own. And what a hassle in the early days to do it. It was crazy, but we didn't know any better, and we made pretty much all the different mistakes, but it didn't matter. But we figured it out. Tom said it in the beginning. We all have to just be having fun. And everything else will work out. And it did.
I do my breaking and entering Christmas every year. We're now we're 11, 12 years in, and all the money goes to one family. And people have started to ask me the last year or two, maybe like 1 or 2 people a year, is it a 501c3? Can I get a tax deduction? I'm like, yeah, we're not. Like, anything you donate is going to literally one single family. So, no, I don't have to tell you. And if you don't want to donate, it's all good. But I don't know. Maybe it makes me think: do I turn it into a 501c3? Do I make my breaking and entering Christmas like a nonprofit, like with the government? I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the guy. I mean, I just know we kind of fumbled and bumbled to get through it, but. We were lucky. A surfing lawyer originally helped set us up. Hank Mott.
Nice.
But in his daughter,
surfers, they stick together.
They do.
They do.
And his daughter used to work for Tom Spillane as a nurse, as an oncology nurse practitioner. And then she went over with the other guys at UCLA started their own, and they took Tom's people.
Yeah.
And that was
I bet. I wouldn't mess with Tom.
I would mess with Tom. No,
the first time I met Tom was with Dreammakers.
Dreammakers, yeah.
Rhonda Beeman, love her. And it was a gentleman, Tom Devotier.
And he was dying, but he wanted to play one last time?
Yeah.
Was it?
Tony Devotier. I don't know why I called him Tom. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Tony Devotier.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted to play one last time in a band.
Oh, that was so
And Slow Brew was nice enough. This is the old Garden Street Slow Brew. And he gets up there with Tom and his band, and they play. And I connected with Tony, and we became friends.
Yeah.
And I actually got a call from him a little before he passed away. He was a guy who, by all accounts, Tom, very close to his cancer journey, was like, this guy should have passed years ago. This guy had somebody was watching over him. He was around. He was a homeless guy living at the Maxine shelter, and just had this spirit about him and this verve about him. And we would go to lunch here and there. We spent Thanksgiving at IHOP. I remember this one Thanksgiving we're at IHOP having lunch. He goes, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And I go, okay, cool. I'm on my phone. And then I see him up there. He's paying for it. I'm like, what? Like, he's like, you've done so much for me. Like Tony, and I wouldn't know Tony Devotier without Tom Spillane, without Dreammakers and Rhonda Beeman. And then he called me one time. It was a Friday night. He was at Sierra Vista. He wasn't doing good. And he got discharged. He didn't have a way home. He finally got a home. He wasn't at Maxine anymore. He got an apartment in Arroyo Grande off Briscoe. And he goes, could you give me a ride home? And it's a Friday night, 11. Normally, I probably would have had a couple drinks and would have had to tell him, I can't get you. But I hadn't had any drinks. And I was like, dude, I'd love to see you. I'd love to grab you. So I go to Sierra Vista. I pick him up outside. He talks about how he hasn't been eating in a while. And this is kind of towards the end stages of him. And I go, you hungry? He goes, yeah, I'm kind of hungry. I took him to In-N-Out across the freeway for his first time.
Yeah. First In-N-Out?
It was his first In-N-Out.
Okay.
Bring him back to his apartment. He doesn't want to eat together. He's like, no, I'll just eat it. It's okay. So I leave him there and I give him a hug. We out. And then he texts me later just thanking me for the occasion and like, oh man, that burger was the best I've ever had. Like, and then, then he was found in his apartment some months later and just like, I don't know. I just think of, we all have these paths, and like you are part of this path for me, and Tony was part of this path because of Tom, and I don't know. I just feel like very connected to all of you because all of the good thing, all of the paths that seem tangentially to happen from like you and Tom and Surfing for Hope, and this, they're all beautiful paths, and so it means a lot.
They really are, and Tom and I have talked about this, and Karen, but mostly Tom and I when we chat. It's like. You hate to think that cancer brought us all together.
I know.
But, it did. But look at the positive things. I mean, the people I've met in this whole world, in the cancer world, it's huge. I mean, and it's a mixed thing since I know so many people in the cancer world. I know a lot of people that don't make it. But so it be. Like Shannon's a big, she was this
Shannon D'Acquisto. Amazing. I mean, I hosted events for her when she was with, cancer support community or whatever. I mean, when I heard about her through a friend because she kept her journey. Cancer is one of these things where sometimes people put it out everywhere, and sometimes people keep it very private. And I get both of them.
Very personal.
I get both. Yep. I get both of them. If a family wants to keep it private, I get it. But I also remember, like my mom. I remember. She died at 54 of breast cancer coming back and, not a wrinkle on her face. And I am reminded of that often. And I go, like we think of like some Christmases where we have this one Christmas where we like got info. We weren't sure like the insurance was going to accept her thing. And like it did. And like cancer is like a journey every single day. Holidays are magnified even more because of the good or the bad. And sometimes you're waiting for information that's either good or bad or challenging. And cancer is just one of these things. And you're right. It does sometimes connect us in ways that are beautiful for such a dastardly thing.
Just a horrid thing. But it's interesting. I mean, and it's a tough journey. And it's like when people haven't experienced it, they don't really know. This is the way it is, and people like view it differently. If you're the cancer person like I was, I mean, I had friends that really couldn't see me, and family people even that it just was too hard. And it's not that they didn't love me.
Did that hurt you?
Yeah, it did. But as time went by, I figured it out. I get it. I mean, not everyone can. And I was one that put it out there. I mean, I immediately joined up when I got after my cancer with the Cancer Connection group. Wonderful Elaine Gardner, her and Jim Gardner are amazing people in San Luis Obispo. But they've had the Cancer Connection. We just celebrated 20 years of Cancer Connection, and those are cancer survivors that are willing to talk to people about their various cancers. So I've been the head, neck, and throat guy, and I've mentored a lot of people, and not only through Bob. Cancer Connection, but all my doctors say, like when Javits was still around, he'd go, "Hey Bob, I got this guy. Do you want to?" And it's a small thing that I can do, and I feel grateful I can do that. But for me, I took the other route. I mean, I wasn't hiding anything. I was just like, shit, I got cancer, whatever. I'm gonna surf through it until I can't.
What other things? When my mom had it, and I'm scared of it. Like I said, my mom died at 54, and one thing that I learned, your attitude and your disposition can sometimes be as important as your treatment. And my mom's disposition, because of some family issues we were going through, my sister was having drama with her family. And I don't want to put too much out there, but my mom was having a really hard time with her attitude. And I would tell you, Mom, this is your path to recovery. Like the way you look at this, the way you look at everything is your path to recovery. And I wonder if Honestly, it was another I talk about this in therapy, but like, you know, she waited on her cancer. Like, she was a little bit afraid to go to the doctor and waited. And so like discovering breast cancer when it's late is it's pretty effed. It's like, it's not good. So
It's not good.
So
Any of the cancers,
you got to get on it.
on it.
So I don't know. So these are things that I dealt with. These are things that she dealt with. And, you know, I've come to grips with all that. But everyone deals with cancer in a different way. And you can't sweep it under the rug. Even if you don't want to, once you realize you have it, talk about it, like get checked, get seen. You can't not. Right?
Early detection, you have a shot. And if you don't owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family members. You know, it's just ever so important. And it just sucks, but you got to be proactive. You got to jump in and go, okay, what's the deal? And then take care of it.
How are you going through it? Who serves you? Like you serve Bob, you're a gigantic heart. Who serves you? Who do you get to drink from?
I have some wonderful friends. My buddy Randy Jost is a great guy. He's a retired counselor for the county. So we go have a lunch and this chat, and then in both ways. I think I have stuff to give him, but he also helps me in that way. And I have a good network of friends that I can chat with, and that they help me. And it used to be I'd go out and go surfing, but now I'm not surfing. So
Does that hurt you?
Yeah, it does.
Really?
I'm over it. I'm humbled. But I've gotten to the point where I can't do anything. I really, it's hard to even stand up. So I was such a high level of a surfer. So at this point, you know, I'll probably still paddle around and stuff, but I'm kind of playing in the water because I don't want to be in the way, and I can't afford to be injured either. So it kind of does. And I have friends that in their 70s that are killing it.
But that smell, that water, that dip of your, you know, that duck dive, like it.
When you're walking, you see everything, the duck diving and getting pounded,
smell,
getting a good wipe out. The O3, the ozone, everything. You know, this everything. You know, the audio, the pounding, just everything. The visual stuff is crazy.
You're a strong man. Are you able to process the loss of that and still be okay, or does it feel like a loss to you?
You know, it felt like a horrible loss for quite a few years because I felt myself declining for the last 4 or 5 years, and then people were very kind to me in the water. I have people literally will block for me or say, "This is Bob's way." You know, I mean, and
legend, dude.
I'm just fortunate. I mean, people are very kind to me, and so that helps me a lot. But I'm over it. I mean, I'm just beyond humbled. I'm good with it, and now. I never could sit on the beach and watch the surf. I had to be in the water. But now I can do that. Or I can watch other people and really appreciate it. And, you know, in the bonus, I see my grandkids. That's exciting. I mean, and for me, you know, back to the old stupid cancer thing, I mean, I was diagnosed at 53 and started treatments at the beginning of the year when I just had turned 54. And I was good with it. I was thinking I had a beautiful life. I was good to go. And I'm so glad that I did not. And I think a part of that reason is in spirituality wise, I think there's a reason for me to be around. So that within itself feeds me and gets rid of a lot of my angst about that. And it's just like, it's good. It's cool. I mean,
I remember conversations I would have with Tony Devotier, and I recorded some of them. I would just hit my phone and record and put the phone on the table because I knew my time with him was short. I never knew how short, but I knew that it wouldn't be, you know, very long. And he would talk about the idea of having, and his cancer was terminal from the beginning. Like his cancer was terminal for a long time, and he would just be like, to hear someone like that say there's a blessing in this, to be able to look at life in a new way, there's almost something beautiful and poetic about it. it's hard to kind of, it's hard to rationalize and wrap your head around and heart around. But, I don't know. I guess when you see someone like who goes, and I look at you going, I was 53, and I'm like, you know what? I'm good to go. But of course you're very thankful that, like, and what is that spirituality? Let me ask you, like, what is that spirituality that you found that makes this okay?
Well, I didn't grow up with any spirituality really very much. We didn't go to church. I never knew about service in any way. I mean, that's just because of the life I had led. But again, my mom was very, very positive. And then she found a guy called Joseph Murphy. He did, it was the power of the mind, basically, or the intermind, or the power of your self-conscious was his whole format.
Yeah.
And this is in like the early 60s. And so that was the beginning. That helped me. And so he became a mentor. And then I met other wonderful people as mentors. I met a man through a friend of mine he was at SC. He knew Leo Biscaglia. And Leo was known as the hug doctor and in L.A. And he was the most positive man I'd ever known. So I kind of, and then my friend was taking his class, and he was a TA. So we would hang out with Leo, and sit around, like in the ancient time, and kind of discuss the world at large and stuff. And his take was really positive. I am Christian, pretty much. But not, I mean, I love Christianity.
What's that mean? You believe in God?
I believe in God. I believe in Jesus.
Yes.
And I pray every night.
Yeah.
And
what's pretty much mean? That's an interesting way. I said, what's pretty much mean? That's an interesting way to put it.
Pretty much to...
You said I'm Christian pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm not pretty much. I mean, I think the traditional thing is the Christians, you choose your church, you're there, and then you're doing work within the church itself. And I've never really done that.
Do you believe in Christ?
I do.
Believe in God, but you don't have a church you belong to. That's all you're
Correct.
saying.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I love other religions. I mean,
Sure.
my very good buddy is a Jewish guy, and he talks about...
And you love him.
And I love him. And what they do to the world is amazing. Their job in life is mitzvahs. They're doing mitzvahs, which is... Mitzvahs is... It's like when you do a positive deed, it goes up into the sky, and then it showers down into the universe. So I love that. I love Buddhism and a lot of the pureness of that. Uh-huh. But a lot of things in Buddhism I don't believe in. I believe there's a heaven. I hope there's not a hell, but I believe there's a heaven. And I hope, I hope to see my mom and sister there, and we were the three amigos through my life, and my sister pretty much helped raise me. So it was a heavy loss losing her.
Yeah.
My mom lived until 91. She ended up passing away at the Manse during the pandemic.
Manse on Marsh?
Yeah.
Oh,
she
my
was
gosh.
At the Manse on Marsh.
Really?
Yeah.
In the pandemic, so just a few years ago.
Just a few years back.
Oh, my gosh, Bob.
It's been about, 2020.
Okay, yeah.
So that's, So horrible. She April of 2020 is when she passed away.
Was it COVID, was it?
It was COVID.
It was?
No, it wasn't. No, she didn't have COVID. No, she just...
It was during it. During all that.
I'm sorry, it was during COVID. But she was... she had broken her back at 88, or fractured it, and so that was kind of the downfall of her. It's the same.
My grandma broke her hip. Sometimes these things, they can lead, unfortunately.
That was kind of...
So you feel like... Let me ask you about your mortality, because you see your sister, your mom 5 years ago, 6 years ago. You see these things. You are very much aware of your health, but you are such this positive, enthusiastic soul. Where do you feel... What do you feel because of all this of late?
I do feel a loss of my physicality, but I just feel so fortunate. And I never really totally understood how blessed I was physically. I mean, was a stud. I mean, I could,
You are
I
a
could
stud.
kick ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
you are, and you are
into
a
my
stud.
60s,
Yeah.
I was kicking ass.
You are.
I would be the guy that would go the furthest out to get the biggest days and yada yada yada. And not to be a braggart, but it just
No,
I just
you're a gentleman.
I just felt that positive energy, and that alone. I mean, I don't know how people can't believe in spirituality and God because of the power of those things in our earth, in our world, and the ocean and everything. Those things give me great hope. Those things help keep me keeping on, kind of thing, and
Yeah.
propel me. That positivity.
The book
And
is
Surfing for Hope.
Yes. Well, Surfing for Hope is just an absolutely incredibly worthy organization.
Thank you.
And we've talked deeply about it, but if we were to scratch the surface, Surfing for Hope uses the art and sport of surfing to touch people who have been touched by cancer, their families, using surfing, getting in the waves, whether it's teaching them in the early stages just to get in the water on a surfboard, stand up, feel that waves, do a duck dive, let's get some waves back in, all levels, right?
All levels, yeah.
We're just trying to use the art and the sport of surfing to touch people who have been affected by cancer. And it's incredible because...
And it works. Who knew it was going to?
It's really amazing because whether it's... And I love how you put this earlier. Earlier you talked about the waves as literally just energy that is happening from thousands of miles away. But there is something cohesive about that energy and about these people's paths that has touched people where... I know you're doing Skating for Hope. I know you're doing other things for Hope.
Yeah.
But Surfing for Hope, we're chiming into the earth. We're chiming into the earth's vibrations, the wavelengths, and it's special. And I want people to get the book. We're going to put the show notes. We'll have the link to the book.
Excellent.
Riding the Wave of Hope. We have a
It's on
book
Amazon.
signing. We'll put the link to Amazon. I'm looking at it right now. We have a book signing coming up. When is this?
Thanks for asking. The book signing is going to be, it'll be my second one. We had one at the last contest at the WSL shortboard contest in Pismo, but this one is at the legendary Estero Bay Longboard Club guys.
This Saturday.
No, it's a week from Saturday. Yeah, this coming, on the 28th.
February 28th.
February 28th,
Got
and
it.
it's at The Rock, and it's the Big Bad and Ugly has been going on for 32 years. I've survived 28 of them, I think, and surfed my heart out in them. And actually, the last time 3 years ago, I surfed it, and we had a Surfing for Hope team. And I actually ended up getting fourth, which I was really proud of.
Good for you.
I survived it, but I got worked. And after that, it was like, I don't know if I should do this anymore. Before, it didn't really enter my mind that it's a challenge, but now it is. But then the Surfing for Hope, and then we raise a great deal of money in November. The money, and we get lots of people that have donated to us, but the money goes to for camps for children called Pure Stoke. We teach them to surf. Those are children of families going through cancer. We also have survivor camps. We do the same. We teach them. They usually get a better lunch. And it becomes like a self-help session on the sand. And lovely Shannon was one of our members for one of those, and with her whole clan of great gal
Shannon
friends.
D'Acquisto. We'll remember her forever.
Forever.
Great woman.
Such a beautiful lady. She left her mark and gave so much.
And just recently passed away like a week or so ago.
A couple, that's about it, yeah. And then we came up with Skating for Hope. So that's independent, but it's under the Surfing for Hope umbrella.
Yeah.
We hired a guy that's a professional skateboarder, a guy named Robbie Hoshgrove. He has a skate shop in Solvang, and he's a wonderful man. We're very similar. He's another talker, but he's also a childhood cancer survivor.
Wow.
And he had horrible cancer very, very young. And so he felt a need to help people, and like me, it's like, okay, how can I help people? Well, how about sharing my sport?
Yeah.
So that's what we do. So the Skating for Hope is mostly for underprivileged children. The majority are Hispanic, and so we have the wonderful nurse navigator from Hearst Cancer Resource Center, and Elisa. She's kind of heads it with Robbie. And we take these kids to skate parks. But we did Napomo. We just did the first one earlier this month at Napomo. We're also going to doing them at Templeton. And then when Cambria is going to have a skate park, we have a great relationship with them. We'll be extending that. And as I talk with Surfing for Hope, Skating for Hope, our tentacles are moving. All we want to do is try to help as many people with cancer as we can. How we do that is we get bigger supporters are wonderful. When I started Surfing for Hope, I thought the surfing industry would bend over backwards to help us. Surfing for Hope, no. I mean, the surfing community, those people, the surf shops help a little bit. Maybe they'll give me last year's T-shirts. Some of them help more than others. But, in the surf industry, they're complete cheapskates. They don't care. I mean, I thought for sure, especially with our surf contest, they'd jump in and do more, but they don't. We're very unusual for a nonprofit surfing-related organization where the majority of our money comes from the medical world.
Wow.
It's crazy, huh?
Step up.
Step up, surf community. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Do you know someone that's had cancer? Do you know a surfer? Come on. I just don't get it.
But these big brands, too, like Quicksilver or
It's Vans,
Vans.
Quicksilver.
Right.
Mean, there's
California
brands. A ton of them.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
They should be stepping up.
Yeah.
Because
everyone, like you said, everyone knows someone who's been affected by this.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sadly, but it's so true.
I love that you have been affected by this, but you are an example, maybe one that my mom could have benefited from, like your attitude and your enthusiasm and your disposition. It's like as powerful as any medicine they're giving you, Bob. I mean, like, I just love seeing what you do. I've always loved your smile, your soul. Like, you're really one of a kind, Bob Voglin. And I think you know that, but I hope you know that.
I kind of know that.
I think you know that.
I think I do know that.
I think you do because you are, and you do. That's what I love about you.
I'm just a lucky soul. I mean, there's Forrest Gump, and I met like all the surf legends. I mean, my good friend is Anna Moore, and her daddy was a guy named Buzzy Trent, and her uncles were all these legendary people. Like Ricky Grigg was my idol growing up. He was a lot of the people that were the first people that ever surfed the North Shore.
Yeah.
And Buzzy Trent was this legendary guy who actually saved my sister at a place called Secas in the 60s.
Stop it.
Yeah. Kathy, she wiped out. There was a submerged reef. She bounced on her back. Ooh. And we were down there. Her boyfriends had to take me surfing. So I got to surf all these places when I was a young kid. And they got her. They put her on a surfboard. And then her boyfriend had like a 57 Chevy all decked out. And they kind of shoveled her out from the surfboard into the car and took her home. But Buzzy Trent went out there and saved her life.
Craziest waves you've ever surfed? Do you ever surf Waimea Bay? You ever surf Maverick?
No. But the craziest waves I've surfed would be legit 12, 15-foot Sunset. Sunset's a very technical, difficult wave.
Yeah.
I've surfed Big Shell Beach. I've surfed triple overhead Shell Beach, being one of the only people out in the middle of the winter stuff. Exotic places. I've surfed Christmas Island. I've surfed on the big island of Hawaii when we lived over there. I've surfed a place that no longer exists anymore because of the lava flow and took out the town of Kalapana. There's a legendary surf spot. There's like a right reef called Drain Pipes, and it no longer exists. I have pictures of me surfing it. And it's, and the thing with, I'm lucky, and the book has a lot of pictures too. And
nice.
Generally, I'm lucky I have the pictures. But the thing with pictures, if the surf was really good, no one would want to take pictures. They were surfing.
Yeah.
So they were the less than the perfect days. But there's some legit pics.
Well, now with AI, we should take some of these pics, put it in AI and just say, hey, make a video of this. And we could probably make a video somewhat similar to like what you were experiencing, because there probably might not be a video of a lot of these things, but just incredible. Well, I hope you've had half as much fun being here as I've had having you here.
I've had a lot of fun with you. Adam, I really appreciate you. What you do, what you stand for, and in this community, you do so much. So I appreciate you, and thank you.
We'll put links for Surfing for Hope. We'll put links for Riding the Wave of Hope, Bob Voglin's book. We got the book signing coming up this Saturday. We'll put all those links in the show notes. Bob, I love you, man. And please, I know this one took a long time to put together. Let's make sure we don't let this much time elapse before we meet again.
No, let's not. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for being up. Thanks for being up and out, my friend.
Thank you very much, Adam. Appreciate you.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Bob, always love spending time with you. Thank you for sharing your story, your perspective. What a rich history. So glad this dude wrote a book. This is exactly the kind of guy, friend, neighbor you have in your community. Like, you know what, dude, you need to write a book. Well, this guy did. It's beautiful, by the way. There's beautiful colors, this great illustration of him riding a wave. If you would like to learn more about Surfing for Hope, check out his book. I got Amazon links. I got Surfing for Hope links in the show notes, even links to Bob's Instagram. Check out wherever books are sold, and then get that link. Go right to Amazon. Pick up this book. Love it. Thank you, Bob. Love you, my man. All right. Well, temperature's about to take a turn, and not a cool one. High pressure system moving in means warmer temps over the next few days. Forecasters say the region all over SoCal, we're talking into the 80s. Some spots might even be challenging record highs by week's end. And as we get into the weekend, warm up comes after a stretch of cooler weather and cold fronts, all kinds of stuff. So light winds, sunny skies, temperatures that are going to feel more like late spring and early summer than early mid-March. So I've been waiting for a good excuse to get outside, get to the beach. This just might be it. Don't forget to use it. Forecasters say this warm spell likely won't last forever, so get out and enjoy. All right, I hope you enjoyed our conversation with just a real 2 in a row. Yesterday with Chef Dominique Benavides, and then today Bob Voglin. Just great local people. I love doing interviews like this and telling stories of other people like this. It's one of the great delights of my life. And you get a chance to meet a guy like Bob, you're just changed. And hopefully you get a chance to cross paths with him in person yourself. I want to thank our friends Moonshiner Collective, giving us original music on the show called Start Again. They're performing live March 20th. That's 9 days from now, March 20th at Slow Brew Rock, moonshinercollective.com for tickets, and stream them wherever you get your music. Many thanks to Josh and Chiasa Clapper, Tamber Winery, Tamber, T-I-M-B-R-E, tamberwinery.com. They taste their wines out of the village of Arroyo Grande. Have a beautiful, charming tasting room right there in the village, where they make their wine in San Luis Obispo. That is also home to the Lobro Studios. So I thank them for giving us the Tamber Lobro Studios. Love my folks at Tamber, the fam there. And I thank you for connecting here, for being part of this community. Really means a ton. For rating, reviewing, subscribing to the podcast, wherever you listen to it, especially on Apple Podcasts. You leave that 5-star, drop a review. Man, really create some traction. Not only that, it makes my day. So thank you so much for connecting here. You can check out all the supporters of Up and Adam. Go to adammontiel.com. You want to reach out. You want to reach our audience at Up and Adam. We got some new supporters coming on board. If you want one of them to be you, get to adammontiel.com, click the Connect tab, and let's go. Let's go. Till tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Weekend around the corner. I can feel it. Thanks again for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.